Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now. Saturday, February 11th, Ian Cameron and Alex B. Smith ready to break down the Saturday card, and also excited about the betcast that we have on tap. In less than 2 hours from now, we will be going marathon style through the entire Saturday slate, and boy, are we excited about that. 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Again, we're going to be going right from 2 p.m. Eastern until the end of the latest game on the board, which is the Penguins and the Kings. We've got a great response already of people that have said, Ian, send me the link. So we're anticipating a pretty good audience joining us here. Again, still room and still time. If you want to join us on the betcast, send a DM to me on Twitter at Bobano or email bobano350@gmail.com, and we will get you on board on the betcast. And again, you can stay for as little as 5-10 minutes. Just say hello, like one person did several betcasts ago, and just came on and said, I love the show. And then that was it. You don't have to stay long, but you can stay for as little as you want or as long as you want. It'll be a lot of fun. I've got a lot of goal score bets planned throughout the betcast. That'll be exciting. A few in a parlay fashion as well. I'm sure we'll be able to capitalize on a bunch of live opportunities. The beer is stocked and it is ready to rock here for today. So we're looking forward to that. And you know what we're looking forward to? This was a surprise. I didn't expect him to be joining us on the betcast at some point today. Jordan Kristanovich is coming on. So we're looking forward to that. So it's pretty cool. Nice. You get to have a former NHLer on the betcast. That will be a lot of fun. And he is a fun guy, if you remember when he was on the Ice Guys show several weeks ago. So he'll be on at around 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight during the night portion of the betcast. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it, Alex. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's just like I said, been looking forward to it for all week, and now the day is finally here, and we've already got games going on. A boatload of games about to start soon. Of course, we talked about those on yesterday's episode. So for those of you, if you didn't catch yesterday and you want to try to catch what we talked about at the end of yesterday's show for today, maybe pause this and hop over there and then jump back over. But just a big day, obviously big Saturday, and of course leading into the Super Bowl. And we'll be talking about Super Bowl stuff, throughout the betcast as well. Of course, props. I know I don't bet as many props as I used to. I used to have a boatload of props that I bet, but I got a couple of bets that I do like in the big football game tomorrow. I know you do as well, Ian, and of course I'm sure people that are coming on will be sharing them as well. So we will be talking about football throughout the day as well, of course. But obviously the main focus will be covering all 14 of the NHL games for Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt. We will definitely talk some Super Bowl sides, totals, props. We will plan on doing that. Jordan, who's joining us tonight, is a big football guy. So I'm sure we'll get into some Super Bowl with him. No doubt about that tonight and throughout the betcast at various points. So again, DM or email and we'll get you on the betcast. We're going to start with Tampa Bay, Dallas, and Alex mentioned it. If you want analysis on the Vancouver-Detroit game, which is already underway, by the way, and the games that are just about to start at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, then go back and watch yesterday's show because we talked about those games on yesterday's show. Calgary, Buffalo, Edmonton, Ottawa, Islanders, Canadians, all these games that are about to start. So that is where you go if you want to hear those games. So we're going to start this show today with the game coming up at the top of the hour, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. It is the first of the two doubleheader games on ABC national television this afternoon, Lightning and Stars. This is Bob Wischusen and Brian Boucher calling this game. We've got Dallas -1. That's pretty much even money, -110. Both sides, 6 the total in this game. The big news here, I guess, for this hockey game is the fact that the Dallas Stars are starting Scott Wedgwood in net. Not that it's shocking, but right away, Alex, the first thing I thought of when I saw Scott Wedgwood confirmed in net is I remember that he got the call, he got the assignment for a Saturday afternoon matinee game in Dallas recently against the Calgary Flames. Do you know what that game turned into? A complete and utter track meet. All right, it was up and down the ice. He kind of struggled, not kind of struggled. I think he got pulled in that game, actually. Scott Wedgwood. Calgary lit them up. Dallas in particular, I find when they play these weekend afternoon games, they play it wide open. I don't know why, but they've had a lot of these crazy ass high scoring affairs in afternoon games, especially at home. There was a Minnesota Dallas game on a Sunday afternoon. It was like 6-5 Minnesota. I think the Calgary Dallas game was the exact same final score. It was just this wild high scoring affair. So I kind of like the over now in this game with the Lightning and the Stars. And I'm going to take Dallas even with Wedgwood in net. The way I see this is Tampa Bay has to show me they can beat someone decent or good on the road. They've not done that lately. Go back and look at the recent results for Tampa Bay on the road. They have struggled to beat decent or above average or good hockey teams away from Amalie Arena. It's been a consistent problem for them. Now, you would think, they get back on track after the 2 losses with the beatdown in the Stanley Cup final rematch over the Colorado Avalanche, but that was at home. That was in a spot where, Tampa Bay was certainly excited and enthused and ready to bring it. You look at this game, I definitely have concerns about, carrying it over because they really have in recent games away from home looked like a different hockey team. So I like Dallas here, -110. It's a cheap price. Don't have the utmost faith right now in the Lightning on the road. I can always, during the betcast, maybe look at a way to get out of this if Dallas is looking suspect. But I like the Stars here. I like the over as well. And if you want to have some fun in this hockey game, I also threw in a little same game goal score prop parlay in this game. Same game parlay, goal score props. 2 guys that, as Mark Jones would say, the ESPN broadcaster, Canadian, by the way, 2 guys that are hotter than fish grease right now in terms of their recent play. Brandon Hagel for Tampa Bay, Rope Hintz for Dallas. I think if you put those 2 guys in a same game parlay goal score prop, I think you got a decent chance to cash that here today. Brandon Hagel, Tampa Bay, Rope Hintz, Dallas Stars. I think that's not a bad look here for a SGP goal score prop with the Tampa Bay Dallas game. Alex, what do you think here? First of the 2 ABC television games this afternoon, Lightning Stars.
Yeah, I'm glad I waited around because at first I was leaning toward Dallas and I just can't back them with Wedgwood right now. And honestly, when you look at both of these teams side-wise, it's kind of tough to go with either one of these teams right now. They kind of going through some rough footing, especially with Dallas. Like I said, it makes sense to give Wedgwood the start. Ottinger needs a little bit of rest, and he's hasn't been his top form of himself lately. So I like the over 6 laying $1.05. If I had to go and add a side, I'd maybe look at trying to grab Lightning and over 5.5. I'm seeing that BetMGM, that's plus 225. Same thing if you like Dallas and over 5.5, you can get that around plus 225. So it's a good option if you shop around with BetMGM or some of the other American books. But I'm just going to go with over 6 minus $1.05. I think we see some good offense, and these are 2 teams that desperately need to get a win. And obviously, 2020 Cup Finals rematch. They know these are, like I said, Tampa Bay needs a quality win on the road. Dallas needs a win against a good team just in general. So I think this should be a fun one to watch, and it's good to see that's an ABC game as well. So I like the over.
Yeah, it's a good one. Both the ABC games are good. Tampa Bay, Dallas, that's a good game on paper. I'm looking forward to seeing how it transpires. And obviously the next game coming up, which is also ABC at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, right after the Lightning and the Stars. It's the Washington Capitals and the Boston Bruins. First game back from the break for both of these teams. We've got Boston minus 190, home favorites here, 6 being the total, pretty much across the board for this game. This is, of course, the A team, if you will. McDonough and Ferraro calling this game on ABC today. You look at it here with this matchup, Capitals and Bruins. Overs have been actually the dominant theme head-to-head with Washington versus Boston. That's something I noticed. Both of these teams, in terms of their record on extended rest, are both pretty solid, actually. Boston's been really good, with extended rest this season. They enter this game 5-2. Washington's 2-1, so even they have a winning record, when they've played on a lot of rest going in. We'll see if those trends continue today. Looks like for the Boston Bruins, again, no change in their injury report, but again, Jake DeBrusk was the only really significant injury. Tomas Nosek was playing well, so they miss him in a depth role, but definitely Jake DeBrusk is the main impact injury still that the Bruins are without. But other than that, they're a relatively healthy team. Everybody on the blue line is healthy. and that's a good sign for Boston. The Washington Capitals, they still have some injuries that they're battling. Carl Hagelin, John Carlson, Tom Wilson, Nick Dowd. It looks like they're still all out. They're not getting any of those players back for this game immediately following the All-Star break. We'll see how the Washington Capitals fare. They finished the pre-break schedule with a win in overtime against Columbus, but they weren't playing that great. You look at their results, they were only 4-6 in their last 10 games going into the break. There's another team, too. They haven't been able to string wins together, Washington. Off a win, they've not been very good. And that's probably why they're battling for their playoff lives right now, trying to hang on for a wild card spot. Boston snapped the 3-game losing streak. Jimmy Murphy was on with us yesterday. It was hilarious, Alex, to hear that some Bruins fans are panicking and, criticizing players. They've had this historically good first half of the season. But, yeah, let's call out some players for a mini little 3-game skid. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's the kind of fan base we are, neurotic sometimes.
Yeah.
But they snapped that 3-game losing streak with a nice win against Toronto right before the break, 5-2. I think this is a really tricky game pre-game to bet from a side perspective. That's why it's a great day to have the betcast for a game like this. Two teams have been off for a while. Let's see who's the dominant team early, who's dictating the play, who's got the puck more often. That's all stuff you're going to be able to see in this game. And this is a standalone game. Okay, there's going to be no other game taking place when this game is going on. So all our eyes will be focused on this game on ABC. We'll be able to see maybe who's looking good, who's carrying the play, who's peppering the opposing goalie with opportunities on goal early in the game. And then we maybe make some live betting decisions during the betcast based on that. So that's the way I'm approaching it. I kind of like the over a little bit just because of the series history has been so strong with higher scoring games, although it's not easy based on current form to bet the over because the Bruins have been very solid defensively. The goaltending from Allmark is outstanding, and it's been better from Swayman lately as well for the Bruins. Kemper, that's true. Kemper has struggled against Boston. We would expect him to be in net for the Capitals in this game, although it hasn't been confirmed yet. And keep in mind, I believe his last start, because it was Lindgren that got the start against Columbus right before the break. Kemper's last start was against Toronto. He got pulled in that game, gave up 4 goals. It wasn't a pretty game for him. They lost that game 5-1. We'll see if Darcy Kemper, if he does get the start today, can be better. He'll need to be if the Capitals are going to have a chance to win this game. But the only pregame lean I have right now is a small look toward the over. This is going to be more of a game I put more amounts of money in play during the betcast with live betting. What do you think here, Alex? Washington, Boston?
Yeah, this is one I have circled too for live betting. Over 5.5. Anything laying $1.20 or better, I'm going to be shooting for. I think we're going to see some good offense here. It's funny to kind of laugh at this matchup when I saw it at the beginning of the week because Washington Boston was the matchup for opening night where we thought, this Boston team was going to be taking a bit of a downturn and they had all these guys injured and all these different things. And Boston steamrolled Washington in that game. Caps never looked like they were into it. And of course, Boston went on the roll, like I said, to this amazing start that they've had now. And even though they've had some bumps on the road, like I said, Boston fans, no reason to even come close toward, hitting the panic button right now. I think they find a way to win this game, but there's no really good way to attack them pregame. Even laying $1.35 in regulation right now, you'd be better off getting a better price potentially in game. So I like the over 5.5. I'm going to wait to grab that in game and maybe look for something else, of course, during the betcast.
Yeah, good. Definitely. That's exactly what I think. I think there's a very good betcast game. Get involved during the betcast and go from there. I just want to recap. And Alex, you can recap because these 12:30 games are about to start. We're on a bunch of first periods in these 12:30 games. It's just because you got in a lot of situations a team that's played a game already since the break against a team that hasn't. So I'm on the Islanders in that situation, first period, -0.5. I'm on the Nashville Predators for a smaller bet first period just because they were so bad against Vegas. They have to come out better, you would think, today against Philly. I'm on Edmonton first period, Calgary first period, and I'm on a few overs as well. I'm on the Islanders team total over 3.5 against Montreal, and I'm on over 6.5 in both the Flames Sabres and Oilers Senators. And remember, Oilers 13-2 or something to the over after and under. We mentioned that on yesterday's show. Alex, 12:30 Eastern games, what are you on?
Yeah, that Oilers game, I'm going to – that's the one I have – I'm trying to look. Yeah, I have that circled. I'm going to look for a live over in that game when it starts. But right now I just have Nashville first period puck line, laying half a goal plus 170. That's the only thing I have in that time frame.
There we go. All right, good stuff there. So with the 12:30 games. And again, these games are just about to get underway in mere moments. So good time to recap there and get those plays out there to everyone. Like
And
that.
I'll have live. I'll just say I'll let any live wagers that I like right now. I'll put in the live chat for those who are watching on YouTube.
All right, excellent stuff. That Islanders really stands out to me. The -0.5 plus 140. That first period puck line, because I know they weren't happy about their performance against Vancouver the other night. They jump on this banged up, depleted Montreal team playing their first game out of the break. So I expect the Islanders to be strong early. So we'll see if that's indeed the case as they take on Montreal there in that game. Sam Montembeault, by the way, is going to be in net, it looks like, for Montreal there in that game. I just want to recap the goalies as well. Saros and Hart in the Predators-Flyers game. It is Campbell and Forsberg, the goalies in the Edmonton-Ottawa game. Varlamov and Montembeault in the Islanders-Canadiens game. Markstrom and Luukkonen in the Calgary-Buffalo game. And there we go. And that's the way. And here we go. Another chance for Markstrom to win a game. And Markstrom's going to lose his mind. Like, he's really. If anybody's watched Calgary with Markstrom lately, this guy is on. He's on edge. He's on edge right now. He's snapping his goal stick after losses. He knows it's going south for him. He can't buy a win right now. A lot of it's because he hasn't played as well, but there's been some instances where he's played well and the team still hasn't gotten the result. This is a very, very stressed out goalie right now for the Calgary Flames, Jacob Markstrom. I'm fascinated, Alex, how he plays today against Buffalo. Another chance to get off the schneid.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. And like you said, some goalies they kind of get in their head a bit. Obviously, that's a mental position, and when you're struggling like that, it takes something to kind of jolt a guy back into good form and good positioning, and you need a little bit of luck along the way too, playing goal throughout an entire NHL season.
Yeah, I just hope they come out like gangbusters, Calgary, in the first, because I only touched them in the first period, Calgary, because of the disappointment, and jump on Buffalo first period because their first game and they were on the tropical island. A lot of their best players, Thompson and Cousins and guys like that. No, Thompson's playing Ice X. Thompson's in for the Sabres. He's good to go, but he's coming off that island getaway. So, that's why I think that could be a dopey first period for the Buffalo Sabres here in the this afternoon at the KeyBank Center. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway. All right, let's go to the rest of the games. We got the evening games now coming up. Colorado and Florida. Florida -140, home favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. Colorado, wow, beaten down by Tampa Bay, 5-0. Boy, did that get away from them. I mean, they actually weren't playing that badly. It's just Tampa Bay was making good on their power plays and their really good chances. And every time Colorado got a chance, Vasilevsky was in the zone. That was one of his better games. And a lot of defensive miscues and blunders ended up being the difference in the end. So I think it's a situation where, if you're Colorado right now, you got to try to bounce back. And a great stat there from Jarek. And I think Jarek's going to join us on the Betcast, I believe, at some point today. He mentioned wanting to be on the Betcast with us here at some point. But it looks like Colorado is winless as a road dog this year. That's what I thought I saw in his comment there about this Colorado Florida game, which doesn't surprise me, to be honest, because Colorado hasn't been great in the underdog role. A lot of times when they've been dogs for a reason. Or when they've been an even price, they've been an even price for a reason. Like the Pittsburgh game, they were right around even money, they lost. They were dogs against Tampa Bay, they lost. So, yeah, there we go. Winless as a dog this year, especially a road dog this year. So, Tampa Bay is winless as a dog. Okay, it's Tampa Bay. Colorado is 5-2 as a road dog, so I'm getting them mixed up. Tampa Bay is the team that's winless as a road dog. I was going to say Colorado's done some damage with the road underdog role, but I don't know. Florida's got a little something going. All right. They pummeled Tampa Bay. The San Jose game wasn't pretty, but they found a way to win with less than their best. Bobrovsky's actually looked pretty good here in the first two games, only given up 2 goals in the 2 games since the break. So, I think this is a game where I don't fully trust Colorado right now. They haven't gotten things fully on the tracks, since the break. They've had a bunch of chances. They can't score right now, all of us. It's amazing that they've only got 1 goal in the 2 games since the break. They fired 72 shots on goal in those 2 games combined against Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay. Only have one one goal to show for it. So they definitely have struggled here in 2 games to put the puck in the net. Florida's won 3 in a row. Florida did beat Colorado in Colorado earlier this year, 5-4. Florida's actually beaten Colorado 4-1 in Florida last year, and there's been a lot of really close games between these two teams. Colorado hasn't had it easy against Florida. Going all the way back to February 2019, these teams have played 6 head-to-head meetings. 3 went to overtime. There was a 4-1 Florida win after that, a 3-2 Colorado win, and then the 5-4 win for Florida earlier this season. So I'm certainly not rushing to back Florida. This could be a draw. This really could be a draw. I know Alex is more into the draw bets than I am, but man, this definitely has the feel of it could be a close game. Look, we had a 1-goal game earlier this year. That did not go to overtime, but it almost did. I think it was a few minutes away from overtime, and Florida got the late goal with only a few minutes left to beat Colorado back on January 10th in Denver. Then there was a 1-goal game, 3-2 before that, and then there was the 4-1 Florida win at the beginning of last season. And then you go back even further, there were the 3 straight overtime games. So, the draw might be live here. I mean, that's probably the preferred look for me, honestly, is the draw rather than take Colorado plus 120 or lay minus 140 with Florida. So I might sprinkle on this draw. And again, we're on the BetCast all day, all night. My plan was to have some kind of action on every game, or else it's not as interesting or exciting a BetCast. But of course, I'm very disciplined and regimented with my bet sizes and amounts. So we know if we're just betting for action purposes, we keep things very, very small. That's probably what I'll do here on the draw, but I don't think it's the worst look. And again, these two teams won't give a shit about the other team getting a point. They won't, because they're in their own, races. Florida's trying to make the playoffs in the East. Doesn't matter if Colorado gets a point to them, and vice versa for Colorado. Doesn't matter if Florida gets a point to them. So the draw I'm going to be interested in. I think this game, I think Colorado's going to outbreak at some point from an offensive perspective, or breakout, I should say. And, Florida off and under too they're not Edmonton in that regard, but a lot of times Florida plays a rare under. The next game, it goes the other way. So the over does appeal to me a little bit as well. Alex, Colorado, Florida.
Yeah, this is a pass for me. And like I said, I know with the BetCast going on all day, I know people are looking for different plays. And if something pops up during the cast, we'll, jump all over it. But I'm not going to be forcing anything extra just because we've got a bunch of games and everybody's watching all day. I want to, keep this like I would any other Saturday. Yeah, but I'm just gonna keep it like I'm doing every other Saturday. And if you said things pop up, they pop up. I bet on them. But right now, this game's not really on my radar.
Nothing wrong with that. Like I say, we got a lot of games. All right, next up here on the Saturday card. Again, the rest of these games are, of course, at night. We've got Columbus, Toronto, Part 2. Again, these teams played last night head-to-head, back in action head-to-head tonight. We've got Toronto -3, anywhere from -360 to -380 is what we're looking at right now with the Leafs as home favorites. 6.5 is the total in this game. Last night, it was a very, very efficient, focused, very good win for the Leafs. I mean, they didn't take Columbus lightly. They dominated the game. If not for Jonas Korpisalo, it would have been 8-0 or 6-0 at the very least. I mean, it was he's the only thing that kept that from being very ugly for the Jackets. It was a great, great effort from them, from the Leafs, I should say, last night. They carried the play. They could have had 6 goals in that performance last night. Elvis Merzlikins, by the way, is in net for the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. We know the rough season he's had for them, but obviously with this being a back-to-back, it figured he was going to get this assignment. He's been one of the worst goalies in the NHL this season. I mean, I hate, again, we hate to be, mean about it, but we're also, we're here to evaluate hockey, and he's played poorly. We know there's been some trauma in his life, no question, with the Kivlenieks situation, which we've talked about endlessly. But he hasn't played well. And I think it's a mental and physical thing with him. 5-14, 4.42 goals against average, 870 save percentage. This is not one spot where I'm saying, Columbus lost last night, back the team in revenge. No, I think Toronto could win this again here tonight. And certainly I don't trust Merzlikins. I don't. To make saves at this point in time. You look at the numbers. I mean, he's pretty much good to give up at least 3 goals in every single game. So I think Toronto, and look, for Toronto, Joseph Woll's probably going to be in net. It's not confirmed, but I figure he was going to get one of these 2 back-to-back games against Columbus. I thought he was going to get the game last night because Samsonov's been so good at home. but it looks like they're going to probably give him the start tonight. Hasn't been confirmed yet, but a lot of sites have him projected. A lot of times you wonder, do we fade the goalie coming up from the AHL? I don't know if you want to fade this guy. He's only an AHL All-Star. He only went 10-1 down there with the 13-1 with the Marlies and a .930 save percentage. And he's had 4 NHL starts with the Leafs. And do you know what the record is? 3-1, including a shutout with the Leafs in the 4 starts he's made with them in the past before that big injury that he suffered. And that injury that he suffered is why Shalgren became the guy that was the call-up goalie from the AHL for the Leafs for a bit, because that's when Joe Woll was out due to injury. Joe Woll is actually the better goalie prospect than Eric Shalgren. But beware that, you think, oh, Joe Woll, just a minor league goalie getting called up. No, this guy's got talent. He's had one hell of a season. Now it's about, can it translate to the NHL once again? But I think the team will play hard for him. They will, because they want to get him a win. So this might be a Columbus team total under, believe it or not. I could see that. Look, last night it would have cashed. If you want to be bold and look at it, I don't do many team totals under, but the team total under option on Columbus might be something you consider here in this game. Under 2.5, -140. Similarly, I like the Leaf team total over, but again, you got to go down to over 4, -125 at BetMGM, because it's 4.5. At most books. So that's probably what I'll do here. Small on the Jacket team total under and a little on the Toronto team total over here. 4, -125. I could see, 5-1, 5-2. Could see something like that clearly in this game. I think the 6.5, it's tough. Keep in mind with the 6.5, while I lean over, don't underestimate how much this team might dig in defensively tonight for Woll. With him in net, you could see that happening for Toronto, that with him in net, an extra concerted effort to be sound, be responsible, be structured, be sturdy defensively tonight. What do you think here, Alex? Columbus, Toronto, the rematch.
Yeah, this is another game where I feel like it's great that we're going to be having this on the Betcast, because I don't want anything to do right now pre-game. I want to see how Toronto comes out with Woll and net. Like you said, he is the better prospect, of that pipeline in Toronto, but I just want to see what's going to happen with that, especially with Columbus. Second night of back-to-backs, already facing them. Got shut out in the last game. Maybe they come out a little hot and heavy early. And if Woll isn't as sharp in the beginning stages of this game like he's been so far in the AHL, then that could be troublesome. Like I said, laying 370 with a rookie goal, even though he has been hot, is still kind of tough. So this is one I want to kind of watch and see. I'll probably have some kind of a leaner position in the first period live. On the Betcast.
All right, good stuff. Next up, Eastern Conference Final rematch. This is definitely one of the better games tonight. New York, on paper anyway. New York Rangers, Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina -210, home favorites, 6 the total in this one. This is an interesting handicap. Rangers are now playing their 4th game following the All-Star break. They were at home against Calgary, Vancouver, Seattle. They win all 3 games. This is the second of back-to-back. 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights for the Rangers. But again, these spots, which you think on paper are tough, they're actually more detrimental, I find, when you're in the middle of a rigorous schedule. When you're coming out of the All-Star break and you got 4 and 6, it's not nearly as bad. And Carolina, of course, is playing their first game in 10 days since the break with a 5-1 win against Buffalo going into the break. 7 straight wins here for the Carolina Hurricanes entering this game. So they've played excellent. You could argue they're every bit as hot as the Bruins right now. This Carolina Hurricanes team, they've been absolutely spectacular here of late. And I think they are showing everybody how good of a hockey team this can be. So we'll see if they can keep the good performances going. I mean, great in both ends of the ice. They're scoring. They're excellent defensively. We've talked about how good that blue line group is for the Carolina Hurricanes, and it is a special group 1 through 6. Slavin, Burns, Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, Calvin DeHaan. Look at that way this kid Jalen Chatfield has played. He enters the defensive group on the blue line, and he's played great for them. Vancouver's probably wondering, we couldn't get that out of Jalen Chatfield for our team. It's probably why we sucked the last few years. And he goes to Carolina. He's like a completely different player, playing with confidence, playing with poise, playing excellent on the back end for Carolina. It's just because, look, I think it's just a team where the system's easy to understand. You got to be disciplined. You've got a good blue line around you to help you out. And I think it's helped a guy like Chatfield. No question about that. So this should be a great game tonight. As far as the goaltending matchup goes, I was a little bit shocked. Shesterkin got the start last night against Seattle just because they have Carolina tonight, which I thought was the game with the more onus on it for New York. But it was Shesterkin last night. That does have you thinking it's probably going to be Jarro Halak tonight. Now, Jarro Halak hasn't been the auto fade or the auto bet against that maybe he was early in the season. He's played a lot better lately. He didn't play nearly as well against Calgary, but they got the goal support for him, the run support, if you will, and they were able to score a bunch of goals and get the victory in that game over the Calgary Flames. Freddie Anderson will be the goalie tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, you're right. The Hedl, Sebastian Aho goal prop is probably not a bad option there at all. They're red hot. Hedl finally didn't score last night, but I think you can come back to the well with him. It's not bad. Tarasenko, what a night for him last night. He gets his first goal with the Rangers and like his first shift and his first shot. Not even 5 minutes into the game. What a start to your Rangers career for Vladimir Tarasenko last night. So yeah, I think you ride the hot hand, maybe look at a goal prop. I'm not bailing on Hedl just because he didn't score last night. Coming right back to the well with his goal prop tonight for sure in this hockey game. You know what I do like in this game is the Rangers in the first period. This is another one of those situations where jump on Carolina. They don't have the legs yet. They've been off for 10 days. Rangers early, before maybe a little fatigue sets in and Carolina gets stronger and better as the game goes on. Not to mention Carolina has had some sluggish first periods at home, at times this year. So I think a Rangers first period look is not a bad way to go. Now, if you want to be more conservative here, you could go Rangers plus a half and lay a price minus 155, but I'm going to go for that money line plus 140 or so with the New York Rangers in the first period. I think it's a good angle. They're in rhythm. They've played a few games this week. Carolina hasn't played in forever. The Rangers might be able to take a lead in the first period before Carolina gets stronger as the game goes on. So I like that Rangers first period money line here. Alex, Rangers, Hurricanes.
Yeah, I'm looking at the first period of this game too, but I'm going to go over. I'm seeing some $1.35s with 1.5. If you can't get that, I know at some books it's moved up to like 145, 150, even higher. I'd say wait and grab it in game. Of course, we will be on the backcast, so I'll have a little bit sprinkled on over 130, over 1.5 minus 135, but I'll probably go a little heavier, hoping that we can grab maybe $1.10 or even a plus price in game.
All right, there we go. And this is a game, too. I just want to take a look here because, and by the way, I do lean to this over at 6. The Rangers are an over machine coming out of the break. I mean, it's been really amazing to see it. I don't know if it's going to keep going this way forever. I think eventually they want to revert into more of that, play a little bit less high-scoring affairs and a little bit more better defensive hockey, but it hasn't been there yet for the Rangers. They've been in some shootouts, 5-4, 4-3, 6-3. In their 3 games since the All-Star break. So they've definitely been trending over the total. The Rangers and the Hurricanes, for some reason, kind of play high-scoring games as well. 3 straight overs head-to-head between these two teams, including, a couple of them were in the playoffs, but the regular season meeting earlier this year in New York was a 5-3 win for the Rangers. It flew over the total. So, definitely it would be over for me with the total, especially now that it's down to 6 here. In this game with the Rangers and the Hurricanes. All right, next up, we've got the Arizona Coyotes and the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis minus 200 home favorites, 6 the total in this game. So I do like Arizona first period a little bit. Same angle. St. Louis first game out of the break. Arizona's played. Arizona has the legs of being a team that's been in some game action since the break ended. That's not the case for St. Louis. Not to mention St. Louis. Should they really be laying this price right now? Arizona already beat this team's ass 5-0 in the desert not too long ago. And now we're going to trust St. Louis laying minus 200. Not a chance is that happening for me. Not with the way this Blues team is going. They've already traded away Vladimir Tarasenko. I think that's just the start of a bunch of moves that the Blues are going to make to start being sellers and look toward the future. They're not making the playoffs. I mean, obviously they're probably going to see how they play coming out of the break, but I think it's pretty damn obvious that this team just doesn't have it in them to really make that push to get back into the playoff spot. And I think, again, with that first period angle, I'm on a bunch of these first periods today because of this angle where you've got a bunch of these games. Teams have played already since the break against a team that hasn't played yet. since the break, and you've got that here in this Arizona-St. Louis game. So I do like the Arizona first period look here. I will be on that. You can get a nice price on that, around plus 140 with Arizona first period in this game. And then we'll reevaluate from there. Again, we're on a betcast all day, all night. So we're going to have plenty of opportunities to reevaluate our positions throughout the betcast later on in the day and later on in the night. So that's probably what I'm going to do here in this one. As far as the goaltending matchup goes, we've got Karel Vejmelka confirmed for the Coyotes, and he's back in one of his very good streaks here. The last 3 starts, he's won, and he's given up just 3 goals on 104 shots in those 3 starts. So it has been remarkable hockey in net the last 3 games he's been in the pipes. Karel Vejmelka has been outstanding. So for now, just Arizona first period money line for me in this game. Alex, Coyotes, Blues.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to take the Blues in this spot when we were kind of talking about how they were wrapping up the All-Star break, but now laying 200. The way I'm looking at that number, at least pregame. I may be looking toward that first period over a bit. That's been something we've seen trend with these head-to-head matchups, but more than likely this will be a game I'll wait on it and grab something in game. I think this could be a good spot for St. Louis. They're going to try to give a fighter a chance and hang around in this wild card spot. They have to start with a win here. You lose here, and then it just keeps spiraling down. Next thing you know, obviously with the moves they made, more moves are going to be coming. But if even just for their own psyche, to come out hot after having such a bad start heading into the All-Star break, we'll know what St. Louis is made out of, I think, from the first 20, 25 minutes of this game. So I don't blame you taking Arizona with that side. I might even look at that first period over. But if St. Louis wants to even give a half a chance in the second half of the season, I think they need to start this game. They need to almost treat this like a playoff game, basically.
Yeah, and Ryan O'Reilly's still out for the St. Louis Blues with a foot injury. Buchnevich is out. Robert Thomas is, I think the last I looked, he's questionable, but they're not so sure if he's ready for tonight. And that's obviously huge. They missed him dearly, of course, right before the break. So still a banged up St. Louis team a little bit as well. Let me just see the records. I want to see Arizona on a back-to-back because they were in Chicago last night. Nice win for those Blackhawks. I was happy to see that. I ended up taking Chicago there.
And in overtime.
4-3 win. Yeah, and you got the draw as well. So congratulations there. Arizona only 1-4 on the back-to-back. St. Louis is only 2-2, though, on extended rest. So there you go. So Buchnevich and O'Reilly are in. Just confirmed. Okay, so there you go. So that's big for St. Louis. But again, I like that first period angle for Arizona. It's going to take some time, I think, for St. Louis and a lot of these teams in terms of getting up to speed with the pace of play following the All-Star break. All right, we got a few more games left, but before we get into them, hit the like button. By the way, 160 live viewers on YouTube, hit the like button. Reminder, Betcast is a little over an hour away, 2:00 p.m. Eastern time. DM me on Twitter at Bobano or email bobano350@gmail.com. We will send you the link for the Betcast if you want to join us at any point during the day or the night as we go all day, all night with the Ice Guys. First ever Saturday Super Betcast. Looking forward to it. And again, you could stay for as little as 5 minutes or you could stay for 5 hours. It's whatever you want. So make sure you join or you get in touch and contact me either Twitter or email if you want to join us on the Betcast. We'll be back to wrap up and break down the remaining games of this Saturday NHL card right after we hear from Gramco.
All right. Whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, or the ice, Gramco is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, Gramco provides customers with consistent quality Delta 8 products ready for any occasion. Gramco currently offers numerous Delta 8 products such as vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. Gramco offers an enjoyable legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you, and is also available at many American retailers as well. Get the best Delta 8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from Gramco. If you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code ICEGUYS, you get 25% off of any order, and all orders on the site that are $50 and higher are shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with Gramco and check out their wonderful Delta 8 products today.
All right, we're back here on the Ice Guys, and we move to Minnesota where things are getting a little bit hot under the collar right now in the state of hockey. The Minnesota Wild floundering, languishing right now in just an awful funk, and they will try to snap it tonight, hosting the New Jersey Devils. Minnesota minus 125 home favorites, 6 the total in this game. Look, it's Operation Fade Minnesota right now for me. It's just simple. I mean, I was on Arizona Monday, first game after the break for the Wild. They lost in the desert. We came back with Vegas as a slight underdog against Minnesota the other night. So did Alex. And they ended up getting a bit decisive, dominant, totally in control from start to finish, 5-1 victory for the Golden Knights over the Wild. The offense is struggling. Nobody other than Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek is stepping up offensively at the moment for the Wild. The defense hasn't played as well. The goaltending has been a little bit shaky. Again, keep your eye on the status of Jonas Brodin. It's not a coincidence they're 0-2 without him this week. He is one of their better shutdown defensemen, plays in key situations at the defensive end for the Minnesota Wild. So he's a big loss. No, I mean, he won't move the needle in the casual hockey fan's mind, but Brodin is a big issue right now. Brodin is back, says Terry. We'll see, because it's listed as day-to-day, but if you say he's back, we'll trust in Terry because he's the Minnesota Wild fan. But that is significant. That is big, because they're just not the same blue line without him. But they got to show with him back, they could still get the job done. Gustafsson, by the way, will be in net for the Wild. It'll be Vitek Vanacek here for New Jersey. I was impressed with New Jersey against Seattle. No Jack Hughes, and Jack Hughes will be out week to week, so we're not going to see him for a while. And I mentioned how I thought that could be a loss that really, really hurts New Jersey, and how are they going to overcome that, because he's in so much of their offense game to game. But they still found a way. They beat Seattle. They played a pretty solid game overall. I think Minnesota is certainly going to play with some desperation, some urgency. It's the one thing that might be able to get them by and back into the win column tonight, but I'm going to have to see it, okay, before I believe it. So I'm on New Jersey here, plus 105. It's that simple. Minnesota, show me before I'm ready to back you, and until then, I'm ready to keep on going against you. It's really that simple. What do you think here, Alex? Devils, Wild?
Yeah, I'm going to wait for a live over in this game. At 6 is fine, but I want to see, like I said, these are two teams that really got to kind of show me something, especially New Jersey. We've seen them kind of bounce up and down as well. Of course, heading into the break, they were, hot, and they're streaky. They're a streaky team. When they get hot, they get hot. When they get cold, they get really cold. But Minnesota's in bad form right now. Like I said, everybody's hitting the panic button here in St. Paul. It's a big game for them. This is the second of the long home stand, and they have to take advantage of these home games. They haven't played well anywhere right now, but they got to play well at home first, because that's what kept this team afloat for years. When they make the playoffs, because they have a much better home record than road record, and they just have to start, they have to get out of their heads and get things going in the right direction. So I lean with the first period and full game overs, but I'm going to wait in game. I want to see, like I said, that kind of intensity and pace from both of these teams, really, that need a win right now. And maybe even a draw would be worth a shot here, because you talked about it earlier with that Florida-Colorado game. It's kind of the same boat. Two teams that need to just get in their own form, not worried about what the other team gets necessarily. And if this game is tied late, they're definitely going to be looking for the points. So I might end up sprinkling with the draw here.
Looking at maybe the draw here in this one for Alex against the Wild, the Devils and the Wild. Like I said, it was a solid game for New Jersey, with the first game without Jack Hughes. Dougie Hamilton, you got to bet him right now to score. I think he's taken the onus on him, and it sure looked that way to me in the win against Seattle the other night. First game without Hughes. I'm going to shoot the puck even more. And this is not a guy that's scared to shoot the puck, obviously, or shy about it. He does it a lot. But I think he feels, my offense from the blue line, it's going to be even more important now that we don't have Jack Hughes. And he scores 2 goals, of course, against the Kraken the other night. So I think a Dougie Hamilton prop of some kind, of points prop, obviously, but even the goal scorer prop, I think definitely is in play here with him. He's become active. He's jumping into the play. He has no issues at all, ever, when he's in the offensive zone, jumping into the play and getting involved. And we have seen that repeatedly with him. So definitely a situation where I think if you're going to look at something in this game, that's maybe what you target here is Dougie on the Devils side in terms of goal props. You look at maybe a Dougie Hamilton here. That top line was pretty good, solid, actually, the other night. The newly formed top line of Palat, Hischier, and Bratt. I thought they had some pretty good chemistry for the New Jersey Devils in that game. And we'll see if that carries over to tonight against Minnesota. Yeah, plus 400 at some spots for Dougie to score a goal tonight. And again, he's shooting the puck even more right now. And he's been scoring a lot more lately as a result as well. So pretty good price there on that. No question about it. About that, if you're going to look at Dougie Hamilton prop tonight in this one. All right, we have just 2 games left, and they're both the late games, Chicago and Winnipeg. We've got Winnipeg here plus 380, or minus 380, I should say. If Winnipeg was plus 380, it'd be unloading the account. We've got Winnipeg here minus 380. The total in this one currently sitting at, it looks like 6 shaded to the over across the board in this one. Now, this again has that angle of a team that's played since the break, a team that hasn't. But I'm not as bullish on taking Chicago first period over, or first period money line here. I'm not, especially because I think we're going to see Peter Mrazek in net after we saw Jackson Stauber last night get another victory. Now 3-0 as an NHL starting goalie with the Chicago Blackhawks, but probably Mrazek here on the back-to-back for the Blackhawks. It'll be Connor Hellebuck in goal for Winnipeg. And this is a good hockey team, Winnipeg, that maybe doesn't have it in the first period, but I know they weren't thrilled with the way they played going into the break. They did beat St. Louis that final game before the break, but I know they weren't thrilled with the way they played going into the break. And then I look at Chicago, Alex, on back-to-backs, 0-7. All right, 0-7 Chicago on a back-to-back. So this is the one game that I am not betting that angle. First period money line for the team that's played since the break against a team playing their first game since the break. I am not going to take Chicago tonight. It makes sense, but again, Mrazek and net, back-to-back, they've been terrible, Chicago, this year. I could obviously see Winnipeg actually having a good start here, and we'll see if that is indeed the case in this one. I'm probably looking at a Jets team total. It's probably the way I would approach this game. I think definitely you could see that here tonight. I'm not a big fan of Mrazek, where you assume he's in net. It could be an issue, too, for Chicago, where that defense, that was a pretty intense game with Arizona, back and forth. Yeah. They fall down. They take the 3-2 lead. Arizona ties it late. It goes to overtime, and then they get the overtime winner, Chicago. That took a lot out of them. And all of a sudden, so I could definitely see this being a situation where Winnipeg is able to pounce a little bit. The pretty intense first game for the Chicago Blackhawks last night, maybe take advantage of that. So this is the one game I'm not taking that team that's played since the break in the first period against a team that hasn't. And I might actually look Jets team total here in this game over 3.5. And you can get that currently at around, it looks like minus, it's a little pricey, minus 160, but might be the juice worth laying, in my opinion, there with that. What do you think here, Alex? Blackhawks, Jets?
Yeah, it's another one looking for a live first period over. And it's mainly because I wanted to get Jets first period puck line, but I'm not going to lay $1.05 or $1.10 with that spot. I feel like I can even get a plus price if I just wait a few more minutes with the over 1.5, and Winnipeg could easily get 2 on their own, like I said, against Mrazek, who has certainly been the weaker of the options, of course, all year. Jackson Stauber, as you mentioned, first Hawk goalie in history to win his first 3 career starts. So, kudos to him for getting that victory. And, the Hawks have struggled against the Jets over the years, especially on the road. Winnipeg always plays them tough. Like I said, they're coming off the break, and they didn't play well heading into the break. I do expect them to bounce out early. So, waiting for $1.10 or better on that first period over, and I think Winnipeg will probably dominate most of that first period.
All right, there we go. Good stuff indeed. Some of our first periods are not going well here. Montreal has scored on the Islanders 1-0. Calgary's down 2-0 against Buffalo here in the first period. The Oilers are getting the job done for me, and Nashville's still scoreless with the Flyers. So only Edmonton right now is treating me well with these first periods. I told you the angle makes sense, but it doesn't mean it's always going to win. And yeah, I mean, it's Markstrom, the second goal was not a great goal. And again, you feel bad, but the struggles seem to be ongoing for Jacob Markstrom here in net for the
continues to struggle in the first period.
And gives up early goals. Yeah, and absolutely gives up early goals. So definitely a concern there for him moving on.
I think they send him down at some point because they have a high-quality goalie in the NHL who's about maybe a year or two away from being a full-time NHLer, in my opinion, Dustin Wolf. You got Dan Vladar, who, of course, has been playing lights out. Send him down, technically down, because the AHL team's in Calgary too, but give him some time to kind of maybe get out of his head a little bit and let Vladar and Wolf carry this team and maybe change the fortunes a bit. I think that's not the worst idea in the world. Obviously, you don't want to send down your $8.5 million NHL goalie, but he's got to work something out. And the fact that he keeps putting his team behind the 8 ball early in games, it's one thing if you're struggling and you're losing, but also the way in which they're losing. Sutter and company might need to think of something like that.
Yeah, I know, JT. That's blame me. I feel I am frustrated too. I mean, there's no team I've lost more money on this year than Calgary. It's a slam dunk that they have cost me more than any single other team in the NHL. And this is the last straw today. That doesn't mean we're going to just bet against them now, but we're staying away from betting on them for sure for a little bit of time after this. This is unless Vladar's in net and it's a really good situation, But other than that, we're going to give Calgary a break a little bit after today. All right, speaking of a break, we're going to have a break after this game and after this show, which is only in a few minutes, because this is our last game of this Saturday card, and it's a good one to end our day and our night and our betcast. This will be a good game in the late night hours. Pittsburgh and LA, teams that need points right now. LA Kings -115, home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. This is another one where the Pittsburgh first period angle makes some sense. They've played since the break, first game for the LA Kings. Tristan Jarry maybe making his return as well for the Pittsburgh Penguins in this game tonight. He's been practicing. He's on the trip. It was to Smith last night, but there's a very good chance he returns, and he's able to make his return in net and start for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight against LA. So the first period for the Penguins makes some sense. And what I might actually do is if I cash that, I might look at LA live in the game because they're one of those teams where I could definitely see them getting the job done. And that's important that the Islanders have tied it, Brent, because the first period puck line might still lose, but I have the team total over 3.5 with the Islanders. So you still need them to score goals. And Vancouver scored, so that's good for the over there. So there we go. Things are looking up here in the last couple minutes. Things are not looking up, though, for most hockey fans that hate Leah Hextall because she just showed up on the screen here. She's doing the ringside reporting for the Lightning and the Stars game, but she's better at that. She's good at that.
She's much better at that. Yeah, she's good. Yeah.
She's good at that. I mean, I've got no issues at all with her doing that. She's fine with that, the interviews. It's the play-by-play that's different. But, yeah, Pittsburgh first period for me. And then I might look at LA live. In terms of the goal props, Ricard Raquel, Zucker stand out for Pittsburgh. Kapanen is actually starting to really heat up since he's been back. So maybe you look at that potentially as a goal prop worth a look. The LA Kings, they went over the total in 4 straight games right prior to the All-Star break. So they were playing a lot of high-scoring hockey. And guess what? 3 straight head-to-head meetings with Pittsburgh and LA have gone over the total as well. 6 of the last 7 between these two teams since 2018 have gone over the total. I was very surprised to see that. So has me leaning over when you see something like that. I mean, 6-1, 4-3, 6-2, 5-4, 5-2, 4-3. I mean, a lot of up and down high scoring affairs head to head. So I lean over, but this might be an Alex special for me. Wait for a live game. Wait for a live over during the betcast tonight because I don't love the 6.5. Feels like I'd rather have a 6 with these two teams. And if I get 6 or better during the betcast, then I'll pull the trigger over the total in this game. The only thing I've got pregame is that Pittsburgh first period look. And then I said, if that wins for me, I'll probably look at LA live during the betcast tonight. What do you think here in this one, Alex? We don't know if Jari's back, but I'm guessing he might be back because he's on the trip. He's practicing. He looks like he's ready to start. They put into Smith last night. This could be the Tristan Jarry return here tonight for Pittsburgh. For LA, we don't have a confirmation in net, but I would expect it would be Phoenix Copley, the man who just got re-upped for another 2 years. And how about that? What a story. Getting a 2-year deal now with the LA Kings, and deserving. He's played very well. He hasn't played nearly as well going into the break, but overall the numbers are still very good. The win-loss record's good, and that's all that matters. They've been winning with Phoenix Copley, and the Kings are rewarding him for his efforts. What do you think here, Alex? Penguins and Kings.
Yeah, I want to wait and see for both goalie confirmations, but it would make sense that it would be Jarry coming back for Pittsburgh. Makes sense it'd be Copley, like you said, getting the 1.5 mil extension for another year. Giving him the start. And like I said, this is one where I want to wait and maybe get a better price and number in this game. 6.5 tends to be a bit steep, even though, like I said, these are two teams that definitely, once again, in their own positions, definitely could look to get a quality win against a good opponent, which is the case for both of these teams right here. So I think it's going to be a fun one to watch, but I think we could wait, and I think it'll be a little bit tighter early, especially if it is Jari and Copley, and we can get that 5.5, and maybe even get 5.5 at a plus price, and then hop on that. So that's something we'll be looking for tonight during the backcast.
All right, there we go. So a live opportunity is what Alex is looking for, and that makes sense because we've got the betcast in less than an hour, about 50 minutes away at 2:00 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to get a little lunch in me between the end of this show and the start of the betcast, and then we'll be ready to go, and we'll get the beers cranked, and we've got tons of afternoon action. We'll be seeing the tail end of all those early games that are underway right now. Right at the start of the betcast. Again, DM me on Twitter at Bobano or email bobano350@gmail.com, and we will send you the link for the betcast if you want to join us at any point this afternoon or tonight during the betcast. All right, it is time for Best Bets in just a second, but first we'll hear from Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, our good friends at Manscaped, who are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, courtesy of the Ice Guys. Get 20% off of any purchase and free worldwide shipping with the promo code Ice Guys. That's promo code Ice Guys, all one word, ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 400 million balls that you can help preserve with manscaped.com using the promo code Ice Guys. You get the Performance Package 4.0. It is a game changer. The Lawnmower 4.0. It takes care of this, among other things. It'll keep you trim as can be. The Lawnmower 4.0, waterproof. Same thing with the Weed Whacker, which takes care of your ear hair, nose hair. I mean, nose hair in particular. You know, I'm getting up there in age, and nose hair is becoming definitely more of an issue. This will take care of it. It feels like someone's tickling the inside of your nostrils sometimes. It pisses the hell out of me. It bothers me. I need to take care of that shit. This will take care of it for you. The Weed Whacker makes part of the package that you get with your Manscaped purchase and the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. You also get the ball toner. You also get the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good and looking good and feeling good down in the nether regions. This package is really going to make you feel good and look good and look better, slim, trim. That's what it's all about. And manscaped.com can help you out with that. So make sure you take advantage of this. Manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code IceGuys at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the promo code IceGuys. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, we are back here, and we are ready to wrap the daily show, the Saturday show with Best Bets, but we're back in basically 45 minutes from now with the betcast. By the way, Nashville went to the first intermission scoreless with the Flyers, so no harm, no foul. We get the push with the first period money line on them.
That's
in that
loss
game.
for me on that first period puck line.
Yeah, I was. That's one where it's just I almost took the puck line, but I said I'm going to be a little more cautious here in case we get that tie after the first period. So it's thankful I did that. All right, best bets. Hopefully we're thankful we make good decisions with the best bets here for this Saturday. But again, best bets for pregame bets. We're going to have a shit ton of live bets all day and all night throughout the betcast. Alex, best bet, what do you like?
Yeah, on a day like this, I mean, a best bet on the show. It just doesn't mean it's a higher units or anything. If anything, we're going one unit or less pretty much the entire day with this much action and play. But it's still the play that I like the most. It is the New Jersey Devils, the Minnesota Wild, that give me the draw plus 330. These are two teams that really need to get their shit together and get in gear. And I think this is going to be a solid back and forth kind of a game. It's hard to trust either one of them to win in regulation, especially New Jersey. I mean, they've been the kings of overtime, it seems like, in the last week and a half. So let's go draw Devils Wild plus 330. That is my best bet for Saturday evening. And hope you can stick around and watch it with us on the betcast.
Exactly. Be there. New Jersey, Minnesota. That's around the time that our guy Jordan Kristanovich will be on. So definitely New Jersey, Minnesota draw for Alex B. Smith with his best bet on this Saturday card. And my best bet for this Saturday slate, we're going to end up going with I like this one. Let's go money line New York Rangers plus 140. First period against Carolina. They're red hot. They're playing great hockey. They've got incredible adrenaline flowing through this dressing room right now. All their best players are playing great, putting the puck in the net. Heedle's on fire. Tarasenko, first game with the Rangers. He gets a goal last night. Carolina, I think, first game after the break. It's going to take some time to get them up to speed. And they have had some slow first periods at times this year. It's a very strong angle. We have a team in good form that we're backing here in this first period spot. The New York Rangers plus 140 first period against the Carolina Hurricanes for my best bet for this Saturday card. That'll wrap it up. Thanks to everyone for joining us, but we're back in 45 minutes. It is the Ice Guys Super Betcast. What a way to get the Super Bowl weekend going in style. Live betting and commentary throughout the entire afternoon and night slate. We're looking forward to it. DM me on Twitter at Bobano or email bobano350@gmail.com to join us on the Betcast, and we'll send you the link for it before it begins. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. We'll see you in 45 minutes, we hope. Of course, that's up to you. You know where to be. If you want to see us in 45 minutes, be there for the Ice Guys Super Betcast coming up later right here on the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.